The Volkswagen Beetle always reminds me of happy Germans and surfers. It's not a car immediately synonymous with an old rocker whose band influenced a generation. The Buzzcocks were one of the greatest punk bands, second only to the Sex Pistols. Their drummer, one John Maher, was to become one of the true exponents of drag racing and tuning Volkswagen Beetles. While most ex-punks are dead or in therapy, John has set up his workshop in very understated surroundings here on an industrial estate in Salford, Manchester. Not really the image you'd expect from a member of one of punk's most influential bands. So what was the first passion then? Music or the cars?
It'll have been the music, because I joined the band when I was 16, so I wasn't even driving at that point, so the Volkswagen thing came along about a year or so later.
Why Volkswagens? Why Beetles?
After the sort of first lump sum payment as a result of Buzzcocks earnings from the first EP we did, I decided to go looking for another car, and just for some reason bought a Beetle. I wasn't specifically looking for a Beetle, but I bought the Beetle, and once I got the Beetle, there was just something about the car that made me start getting my hands dirty, and it took off from there really.
So obviously people come here and get their Volkswagen Beetle serviced, but I mean it's a hell of a lot more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I started off actually earning a living working on Volkswagens by operating out of an old Volkswagen camper van, just going around like mobile repairs and stuff. And as that progressed, I remember going along to a race meeting, and I saw a Volkswagen going down a quarter mile fairly quickly, and I took, once I'd seen that, I thought, yeah, I want a slice of that.
Well, am I right in saying that the drag racing started in the States? I mean, people turned up with the V8 engines and all that kind of stuff, and were very successful drag racing. Then some lunatic turns up with a Volkswagen Beetle and goes, move over. I mean, they must have laughed in his face.
Yeah, I suppose you can put the whole start of the VW performance industry, the air-cooled VW performance industry, goes back probably to California in the mid to late 60s, when there was a little band of people out there that were investigating the possibilities of making this little tiny four-cylinder air-cooled engine that was in the wrong end of the car go very quickly.
But just to give an idea of the potential power that I mean, normally a Volkswagen Beetle used to come from the factory with sort of 30 bhp. Yeah. Now you're doing lunatic things to them.
Well, this thing that's going on here at the moment, this will be a road-driven car, but this will be turbocharged and fuel injected, intercooled and so on, full engine management. This will have over 300 horsepower, and that's to be used on the road. We'll have to make a few mods to the body, mainly on the rear end, because of we've got an increased rear track and the bigger width tyre.
I mean, the Buzzcocks were, or heralded, that punk revolution, didn't they? I mean, you started off in 76?
76, yeah.
76.
Yeah.
Your first gig was the Sex Pistols, Slaughter and the Dogs and you lot.
That's right.
I mean, it must have been a hugely exciting time, wasn't it?
It was. The thing for me though, I wasn't that clued up on what was going on, so stuff was just happening around me. In retrospect, I can look back and think, yeah, it must have been weird, 16-year-old kid getting involved in all of that.
Am I right in saying though that the first, I mean, United Artists, all these major record companies signed up these punk bands as quick as possible because they had to have one, and then you guys go into the studio and record the first single to be released called Orgasm Addict. Am I right in that?
Yes, you are.
And surely, the record company execs must have gone, how can we play this on the BBC? That isn't going to happen.
I know, it's a total commercial disastrous move if you were looking for a hit record, but I suppose that was...
But a classic in my humble opinion, I'd say.
That was the thing to do at the time, it was, so what, 2 fingers up to everybody, we're going to release this as a single, and that's it, I think the second or third single, the B-side was and we had all stuff like the women at the pressing plant are refusing to work on it because of the title of the song,
So Rob, you're one of John's favourite clients, all because of this beauty, right?
Something like that, yeah.
It looks pretty normal to me until you come round here.
That's right.
Now tell me about the engine.
Well, from the factory, 1954, the car came with a 30 horsepower engine. I brought it along to John, who's breathed over it slightly, or a lot should I say, and it now turns out in the region of 150 to 155 horsepower.
God, so what kind of performance do you get out of that, sort of 0 to 60?
0 to 60, you're looking at about 5.2 seconds.
5.2 seconds
That's
in
right.
a Beetle.
That's right.
Now, do you race this?
I have my days where I can take it to the drag strip and I've run what you've run, which is you can go head to head with anything that's there. The last one I went to, or the only one I've been to so far, was at York, and I had about 12 runs during the day, and I got beat once, and it was a little bit damp like this, and the guy that beat me had a 380 brake horsepower Cosworth, and he only beat me because he got the power to the ground with a four-wheel drive. I went through the lights and he beat me by 0.2 of a second.
See, if I met you on the road, I'd think no problem, wouldn't I?
You would, yeah, that's the idea.
Do people do that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time, yeah.
Do you have problems with people?
No, because they just kick their ass. Can I say that?